What's up everybody, it's your man Pots and Pans. Welcome back to this lifestyle sort of video that I'm doing for the second consecutive week. Last week I asked you guys on Instagram to send in requests, things that you want me to do, and as part of the new year and new me, I'm gonna be expediting all of your requests to the front of the line. So, there were a lot of things. Some of them were more health and diet related, and so leading up to today's video, I was fully prepared to do so. I was going to make a video about how to properly choose the correct diet for you, okay? But then I was in a meditation, and then this little thought just popped up into my head, and I specifically, for some reason, remembered another comment from that same post. At Less Serious on Instagram had asked me, how do you overcome worse days? How do you find the strength to push through them? And also any tips for staying positive? And in this meditation, I was thinking to myself, why am I doing a diet video if people can't even get themselves out of bed? What if people are in a funk, they're depressed, whatever it is, if they're not even ready for a diet, what's the point? Okay, so that's where we are today. What do I do specifically on worse days? How do I stay motivated? Where do I find that drive? This is how I look at it. Everyone's situation is different, right? And because everyone's situation is very different, it's hard to me to just give a blanket statement, and that's why I only speak from my truth and the things that have worked for me. Now, no matter who you are, where you live, what your circumstances are, it is extremely rare that you are dealt a hand of cards that is so bad that it's completely insurmountable, okay? If anyone has achieved anything in life and they look at all like you, Gary Vee quote right here, you can do it too. Okay, so that's first and foremost. By knowing that others who look like you have achieved great things, that should give you a little bit of fire, a little bit of hope and belief that you too can accomplish whatever you want. So now that logically we know that certain situations like depression, breakup, loss, poverty, things like this, these roadblocks can be overcome, now we have to deal with our emotions. And to me, this is the most important part because life is about the inner game, okay? Your life, your world is just a reflection of what's going on inside and every other cliche thing you've ever heard on Instagram. But cliches are true and that's why they exist. Dealing with my own emotions and thoughts over the last couple years, I've realized that a lot of them come and go, okay? They change like the weather, they can change with the amount of sleep that you've gotten, the stress that you're bearing, the foods that you eat, okay? They're fleeting and ephemeral. They're actually almost like the weather man if you think about it, because can we even trust them? Okay, where do they come from? Thoughts just kind of blink into our heads and then we attach ourselves to them for some unknown reason. So I think this is where most people who are stuck actually screw up, okay? So they take their thoughts and their emotions as literal or at face value and they kind of attach themselves to them. So if they're up and motivation is high and we're happy and that's great, we're just riding that wave. But then when things aren't so good and the motivation isn't there, we just fall back into that funk. We can't build that momentum. And so that's what needs to change. So when I realized that my emotions weren't going to last, I sat back and I had to think about how can I create sustainability? And the only way I realized how to do that is to create systems around it. Motivation and happiness aren't always going to be there, but your routines will. Shocker, you're gonna have to do a little work here. A lot of people want to talk about how our relationships with other people are super hard, okay? But we don't talk about how hard it is to build a healthy relationship with yourself, okay? So I think a lot of us don't love ourselves enough. I've certainly been there. I didn't give myself enough love so that I could love on other people and advance in life. I didn't give myself permission, okay, to evolve because I wasn't actually in a place of gratitude, love, and appreciation for the things that I had. And so that's kind of like step number one of this process. If you want to change your life, you have to change your inner game. A healthy habit and routine is getting up at the same time every day and getting up immediately, and looking yourself in the mirror and saying how much you love and appreciate yourself and giving yourself those positive affirmations and maybe doing a little exercise, who knows. A bad habit or routine is not having a consistent sleep schedule and staying in bed, and when the alarm goes off you hit snooze, and then when you finally muster up enough courage to keep your eyelids open enough, you're just scrolling on Instagram. If you're already lacking self-love in your life, why would you immediately go to an algorithm and look for those likes and those comments? We know that we're getting the dopamine, those chemical releases. We always hear about that, and that's why we're so addicted to them. But we have to start our days off in a proactive manner. That going on the Instagram, that's reactionary, okay? We can't do that. We have to start off with our own thoughts, our own opinions, our own self-esteem, rather than going to somebody else's feed, comparing ourselves to their successes. It's a complete nightmare that you have to dig yourself out of. So I actually start an hour to 2 hours of my day, every single day, by working on myself, working on creativity, self-affirmations, and visualization. We'll all get into this, and actually we'll do an extended morning routine kind of video for you. But today I'm just going to provide you with the first step that's helped me tremendously over the last couple years, and I think it's the most important for you if you're already in a rut. So here we go. The first thing I want you guys to do is write down every single thing that you do from the moment you wake up to about an hour, 2 hours of your morning. This is just so we can kind of get an audit going of the things that might be beneficial or are completely not beneficial that we need to get rid of, and then we can move on to step number 2. Don't pump up this list to make yourself feel good, okay? Be honest, it's gonna help you in the long run. So are you snoozing? Are you scrolling? Are you doing emails? Don't include masturbation. This is not the fucking time or place. Once you complete that step, now it's time to rewrite a script for yourself, a new kind of like mission statement for the foreseeable future. So we're gonna write down our goals here. We're gonna write down intangible and tangible ones. We're gonna write down, the traits that we wish to embody, the person we want to be as a human, and we're gonna write down a time constraint, a date by which we're gonna actually achieve all of this. Now it's really important that you're super specific here. You can't just write down, I am going to lose weight, okay? When? How much? It has to be, I'm going to lose 20 pounds by the first day of March 2020. I'm gonna lose 2 pant sizes, that kind of thing. If you aren't completely specific about what you're aiming for or when it's gonna happen, it will never happen. And an additional tip here, a lot of people, when it comes to goal setting, they say, shoot for realistic goals, okay? So you can actually achieve them and build momentum. And in certain ways, I think on a small level, that's great, but I say fuck that. Be unrealistic. Shoot for unrealistic goals and unrealistic timelines, because it kind of just puts yourself in a place where you can achieve things faster. It puts your brain in a place where you're trying to think about, okay, if I had to do this by a certain amount of time, if somebody put a gun to my head, how would I do this in a month rather than an entire year? It's amazing how quickly you can get things done when you attach that time constraint to it. So I say unrealistic by the definition of your current status, your mentality now. If it seems out of reach, say it. But there has to be some practicality involved. You can't just be sitting on your couch eating hot Cheetos and be like, in a month, I'm gonna be a millionaire. Okay, don't be a fucking nightmare. Be practical. Now this takes practice and desire and persistence and belief in the facts. So if you don't reach your goals in the allotted amount of time, don't get upset, okay? Just let it go. There's a good chance that you'll still be in a way better place than when you started, and that's the ultimate goal here. We have to work for this. There's no such thing as something for nothing. So you have to write down, in order to lose the weight, I'm going to sleep 9 hours a day, I'm going to have a consistent schedule, I'm going to meal prep, I'm going to intermittent fast and work out in the morning in a fasted state, in aerobic capacity, so I have higher fat metabolization. Okay, so now that you guys have this part, what I want you to do is wake up every single morning and start your day with this. Go to the little chef's room, poop, and start your cup of coffee or whatever. But the first real thing that you do is sit down in your bed, a comfy spot, in the dark, whatever. Read it to yourself out loud. Close your eyes, memorize it, visualize it in your head, okay? If you can't see it in here, this is important. If you can't see it in here, then it's never gonna happen out here. And major key here, when you're doing this, when you're saying it out loud, when you're visualizing with your eyes closed, you have to feel. All right, everything in this world is dictated by feeling, not so much about thoughts or knowing. What we're trying to do is trick our subconscious mind. We're trying to rewrite that program so that all of these good habits and good thoughts and good emotions are completely automatic, okay? So the emotions and the feeling are a very big part of that. I mean, your memory. The most important things that have ever happened in our lives evoked a ton of emotion. You don't remember anything about school because you didn't give a fuck. See it all play out. Visualize yourself already in possession of the money or the car or the girlfriend or the boyfriend, whatever it is. See yourself here so that when that opportunity actually presents itself, you're ready for it. You know how to act because you've already lived it out in your head 1,000 times. This kind of thing has already been proven with studies done by smart people in lab coats and athletes. The athletes that visualize themselves perform better on average. So if your goal is to lose 50 pounds, see yourself losing 20 and then having to go to the store because your pant size is too small, and then you buy that and you're telling your friends and you're excited. See yourself in the mirror at LA Fitness flexing like a douchebag. Okay, whatever it is, have all these reminders, visualize every single day, read this list off to yourself multiple times. Do whatever you have to do to hack yourself into this constant state where you're already in possession of that thing that you want. My ultimate advice is if you want something, you have to become obsessed about it. All we're doing by visualization and goal setting is preparing ourselves for life. And most people don't do that. They just don't think, they don't prepare, they don't visualize, they go throughout life, and life eats them alive. So if you're watching this right now, what do you have to lose? Okay, if you're not happy and you're not motivated, close your eyes and see yourself happy and motivated. Feel the emotions. And better yet, go back in your memories and relive the moments where you were happy. Rewatch past memories. All memories are in the past, but relive these times where you were the happiest. Relive those moments where you were the best version of yourself in here until it becomes true out here. So that's it. Like most things, if you want something great, there's no easy way out. You have to figure a way out. You have to hack it. And this kind of thing can be used for pretty much anything, all right? I've used it for learning boxing combinations. I've visualized working with people that I admire. I've used it for coming into situations where, maybe there's a new environment and new people and I feel reserved, I've realized that in myself. So the next night when I kind of like relive it and I'm like, oh, how could I have done that better? I'll go in my head, I'll visualize just being myself, being my normal self, kind of feeling like these people are already my friends, and then the next time you get to that, you kind of remember if you do it enough. But it can also be for simple things. If I feel like I'm being a little bit too selfish, I will visualize giving more and making people feel good about themselves, offering them compliments, and we're all laughing and just loving on people. There's nothing too big and there's nothing too small. Anything that you feel like you need work on, visualize and work on it here first. So in closing, that is my ultimate advice. It's to work. And that's really hard. I understand when you're down, it's not always the easiest, but anything that's worth it in life requires a ton of work, okay? So it's step by step. You don't have to climb a mountain in a day. It's just taking it every day, slowly but surely. If you don't have a great day, like, she said, oh, how do you overcome the worst days? It's just letting go and giving yourself grace and allowing yourself to look back on all of the things that you have achieved. There's a lot of other things that you can do, like breath work and exercise, and everything that's associated with help will increase your mood and increase your positivity. But repetition over time is a great way to just rewrite the software in your head, and that's what's worked for me, and so that's my advice to you. Everything that I cover in this channel and health and lifestyle will go hand in hand with this, because there's no easy button, there's no one way, one thing that's gonna magically make your life better. It's doing as much as humanly possible to better your life. It's gonna put you in a better place. So that's gonna be all for today's episode, and I really hope this helps a lot of you because it has done tremendous things in my life. Like, comment, subscribe, share this with somebody you think it will help, and drop any comments down below. Follow me on Instagram, reach out there. If you have any questions, you can actually send me a direct DM. I get back to people pretty quickly. Until next time, my friends, love and peace. Anyokis. Chef out.